Hello everyone and welcome to Comment Below Advent Calendar, a podcast where every day in December we'll be rummaging through a different topic of Christmas. We delve into the methods of our social media, finding the seasonal stories you may or may not be talking about. You can listen to us every day on your favourite podcast app, but we're also on YouTube. Just search Comment Below Podcast and follow our adventure through this year's Salacious Santa's Sack on video. Isn't that right, Ben?
Sounds delicious.
Oh, I haven't updated this.
I wouldn't mind
There you go.
diving into Santa's Sack. So, we have to open up the now famous Comment Below Advent Calendar to find out our topic of the day.
Oh, not sponsored by Dougie and
BBC, here we go. So, we are on number 20. And I just realised you say every day in December, it's up till Christmas Eve, just so everyone knows. So...
Oh, yeah, that's true. They don't expect anything after the 25th.
Day 20, we are doing British TV Christmas specials, but not in general the ones that are coming out this year in a few days' time.
I should say that when we use the term British TV Christmas specials, the term's a little loose because there's some streaming TV specials as well.
Just Christmas specials that are coming out this
Christmas
year.
Special?
Yeah, so we're not talking about the past anymore.
No, the future. What you have to watch while you're sitting down with your hand halfway down a tube of Pringles and a hand on a tin of...
Santa's sack.
A tin of, not on his sack, on a can of beer. Beer of choice, Carling. How about you?
Or a fruit juice, or water, or cola.
A mocktail.
Although we may be talking about food and drink a little bit later,
Baileys.
but we'll just save that for later, shall we?
Okay.
So TV, which is a subject we, of course, love, if you haven't guessed by now. It's all we talk about.
That's all we do. It's what we do, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So there is loads actually on this year. You wouldn't believe it by the way that people have kind of like moaned about what's on TV this year, but there is a lot on.
Well, I always remember the famous graph that someone somewhere online made, which shows BBC's Christmas Day schedule, which has been the same since the past decade.
Yes, but they've shook things up this year because they've added, for the first time I think in 7 years, they've added a Doctor Who special on Christmas Day. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yes, new Doctor.
So the
There's a musical element to it all. There's a pirate ship.
found that out, didn't we?
It's a reboot. Series 1 it's called, isn't it?
What? The first
New
episode's
Doctor.
called The Church of Ruby Road.
Yeah, but it's season 1. So it's a reboot.
But they're calling this a new first series?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. How interesting.
Well, Doctor split in half, so there you go.
I suppose so. I still think that, well, spoilers if anyone's not watched it then. I still think that there's a reason why they've done that and there's a spin-off on its way. I really do.
We're just keeping David Tennant in the bank, just in case he needs to bring him out.
Catherine Tate.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there's a spin-off there and they'll be... Anyway. The keys to the TARDIS have been handed over and now it's time for a new Doctor. But first, he'll need a companion. Enter Ruby Sunday, whose world changes when she encounters the Doctor and the mythical Goblin King. Is it Labyrinth? No, it's not, because David Bowie's nowhere in sight. But Russell T Davies is back at the helm, and the show is more essential than ever. Christmas Day at 5 to 6 on BBC One. If you're in the UK, if you're outside the UK, it's on Disney+.
Ruby is giving me Billie Piper vibes. Same sort of character.
Because you want to.
So she's a really good actress as well. She's really popular when she was on Corrie. So
Was she?
I have high hopes. Yes, she was. She won awards.
Did you want to follow that up with?
No.
Awards.
Just saying, I have high hopes for both of them. So
Right.
very happy.
Well, for people who enjoy a bit of a ghost story around Christmas, there's a program literally called A Ghost Story for Christmas, lot number 249, written by Mark Gatiss, who you may know is a showrunner for Sherlock. He also was in League of Gentlemen, so he likes writing kind of like dodgy stuff. But this classic adaptation of an Arthur Conan Doyle story is a gothic half-hour set in Victorian England.
Kit
Harington, Freddie Fox and Colin Ryan play three very different but equally peculiar Oxford academics who tackle an Egyptian mummy terrorising the campus. It sounds brilliant. I love a ghost story over Christmas.
Well,
Absolutely.
Kit Harington's in it, so...
Oh, there you go. So last time you saw him was on that lovely show on Apple TV, wasn't it? When he played like...
There's something about Kit Harington. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about him. He's like my new Jake Gyllenhaal. Well, I just have to watch everything he's in because there's something about him.
They've got very similar beards.
Do we? What, him and him or him and...
You like men who look like you, don't you? Because there's that singer as well who looks a bit like you.
Who?
The The one who did Britain's Got Talent.
Oh, Callum Scott.
Yeah, he looks a bit like you too. You've got a thing about men who look like you.
Okay.
Do you look in the mirror and
Well, that's very nice,
You know
actually,
what?
that I look like Jake Gyllenhaal, Kit Harington and Callum Scott.
No,
I'll take
you don't
that.
look like Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, okay. Well, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. Well, there's something about Kit Harington, so you've sold me on that already.
Fair. Well,
Good
if you want
story.
to watch it, we have to go to BBC Two on Christmas Eve at 10 p.m.
I'll be there.
Outside of the UK, who knows? So that's the drama I feel like that we've got to look forward to.
Mhm.
I don't think you can't have a special seasonal occasion without some kind of Nigella Lawson porn fest on the TV.
Yeah, Microwave was a few years ago. Was it
Microwave.
last year, I think?
Possibly. So she's done a Christmas special, I think, for the last 3 or 4 years. She, before I turned vegan, was my roast potato recipe. I used it every time they were flawless. Every time. I do a variation of it now. Instead of using duck fat, obviously. Can't use duck fat, can I?
Can't use a turkey either.
No, but the turkey had no involvement in my potatoes.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So-
So I'm thinking of you used to use someone else for your turkey with bacon on top. Who was that woman?
Oh, no, that's my turkey. My
Yeah.
turkey's used to be my Delia Smith.
Delia Smith. That was.
Delia Smith recipe I used for turkey. So, yeah, you lay lots of butter and turkey on top. Never, as in the words of Delia Smith, never not had a moist turkey.
So what's Nigella doing?
Nigella Lawson has a long-standing family tie to Amsterdam. This special sees her dipping into a unique festive ambience of the city and creating some meals in its spirit. I've been to Amsterdam over Christmas and New Year, and it's bloody amazing. I recommend it 100%. So actually, I think this is a really, really good show to do a Christmas special around.
So she maybe going to show a bit of the city, not just her cooking then. She may be doing a little bit of a travel doc-esque.
Looking
Scene,
saucy in the
maybe.
camera every now and then when like Sparsa Pete walks by.
Do you think she'll be going by on a bike? Bet she will.
No, she'll be clogging. I bet you she'll go outside one of those shops with those big clogs and she'll be stood there going. But I love Nigella Lawson. I've not a bad word to say about her. I think she's just brilliant. And it's actually, by the time this is out, has already aired on UK TV. However, that's not a problem because if you're in the UK, you can just watch it on BBC iPlayer at any point. I reckon it's, again, a nice little Christmas Eve show to watch. Just snuggle up, hot chocolate, watch Nigella. If you've got Apple TV Plus, then there's no other place to go other than seeing Hannah Waddingham's Home for Christmas. Hannah Waddingham,
She's had a big year, hasn't she?
she had a fantastic year. She hosted Eurovision. That's right, I brought it up for the 4th time. And she did such a funny job with Graham Norton. Like when they did the points, I loved every minute of that. It was just brilliant. But she's
a
also
hun.
presented it.
She's a hun of 2023.
Is she?
Hun energy.
She's just brilliant, isn't she? I just love her. I just love her and everything. I want her to do lots of things.
That's what I mean.
She was in what's that football show as well? That's on Apple TV.
Yes. Ferrero. I don't know.
Ferrero Rocher. That's the one. So so basically, she's doing a big kind of like Christmas musical extravaganza, and I have to be honest with you, it sounds right up my street. So I've got Apple TV. Free stuff coming soon. So
last year they did the Mariah one. Was that Apple TV?
that's also on my list. As
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Mariah Carey's Magical Christmas Special, also on Apple TV.
Oh yeah, Apple.
So Apple TV again.
They're paying the big bucks apparently.
They got the big money, love. I think that's kind of like a nice afternoon show. Kind of like you've wrapped some presents. You've just come back from doing a bit of Christmas shopping, or you've done your Christmas shopping.
Bit of a camp old time.
Yeah, you just want to pop in. You just want to kick off your shoes, sit back on the sofa, and just enjoy a bit of musical frolity. So yeah, so Hannah Waddingham Home for Christmas is definitely a show I would recommend. Now, there's a big debate, isn't there? Is Die Hard a Christmas film?
Well, if we go back to our Vlogmas episode of Christmas films, then you'll see that debate.
Isn't it like our favourite Christmas programmes and TV and film?
Something like that.
Something like that.
They're two different ones. There's TV and film.
Yeah, we ended up just doing one.
No, I think so.
I don't know. I don't care. So
Trust me, I edited them. They're two different ones.
Well, on the 23rd of December on Sky Max, there is the unofficial science of Die Hard. And they did one last year when they did the unofficial science of Home Alone. And it was really, really good, really funny.
What do you mean the unofficial science?
Well, they go through all the different kind of, like the obstacles that the burglars had to go through.
and see if they're realistic.
If you could actually realistically do it. So they got like this like a fake skull and had a paint can smack it and see what actual damage would have happened.
Oh, I see.
And basically brain damage and dead. And so I think they're doing the same with Die Hard. I mean, it's a lot of violence.
Can you go through the air ducts the way he does?
Yeah, walk over the glass, because he walks over the glass with his bare feet. There's a lot of shooting. He sticks like guns onto his back and goes pew, 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 and stuff like that. Like I think it's kind of seeing, is that possible as a thing? And that sounds like fun to me. So the first thing they say is, can you really jump off the roof with a fire hose tied around your waist? Straight away, tick, I'm interested and I want to know. And it's hosted by Alex Brooker as well, which I actually really like Alex Brooker. I think he's cool. He's from The Last Leg.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'll be up for that 100%. Unfortunately, Chris Ramsey's in it, but, you can't win them all. Only joking, Chris.
He's there for the look.
If indeed you're watching. The last one for me, also on Christmas Day, and I've seen a trailer for it, and it looks so cute and adorable. BBC have a real history now, and it normally is their ident as well. So they do like an animated special, which is about 20 minutes, and it's either aired on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And it's
always like heartwarming and
it's lovely,
bit sad, or a message.
And their idents, as I say, are normally relatable to it. And this year they're doing an adaptation of Tabby McTat, which is about a cat, right? Who's the homeless man, and the homeless man gets sick, and so they have to adopt the cat. And then the cat falls in love. Oh.
Then he wants to find his old
owner. I mean, what's not to love about that story? Oh my God!
I hope.
Honest to God, I'm just going to
And animation, it looks like claymation, doesn't it? It's that sort of style, yeah.
I need a box of tissues for that. I think it's on Christmas Day, and don't make a comment. It's on Christmas Day at 2:35 on BBC One, and again, it'll no doubt be on iPlayer straight afterwards. So some comedy now. Need to have a laugh.
Yeah.
Especially if I have to...
Not Mrs. Brown Boys, please.
Not Mrs. Brown Boys, no.
I mean, there is one, but we're not going to talk about it.
No, we're not. So The Ghosts Christmas Special 2023. It's the
final, the last ever, isn't it?
Episode they're making.
Still not... I don't really like Ghosts, but I know how popular it is.
I watched Series 1 and I could get why people loved it, but I didn't really get on with it. I watched some of Series 2 and they did it more as it's not a eulogy, when each one's a different story about each of the ghosts. What's the word for that? Anthology. It was an anthology kind of series, and that kind of ticked more boxes for me. A lot of people love Ghosts, and I think it's the BBC's strongest comedy, and it's made by the same people. I'm sure they're sick and tired of people saying this, but Horrible Histories, and Horrible Histories is a fantastic show.
In America, have just made their own version, and it's good and it's popular as well. So they've done The Impossible, yeah.
So the final episode of the UK version is out on Christmas Day at 7:25 on BBC One. I won't be watching it because I actually want to watch all the series before I watch it, because apparently
makes sense. It's the final episode.
That's it. It wraps everything up. But I will be watching, and it's streaming right now on Now TV or Sky Streaming. Never Mind the Buzzcocks Christmas Special.
Oh, lovely.
When Sky brought back Never Mind the Buzzcocks from the BBC, after years and years of it being off air, everyone said no. Silly, naughty. Greg Davis, okay, I'm interested. Daisy May Cooper, tick, tick, tick.
She's like Kit Harington. I kind of just, whatever she's in, I kind of watch.
She's
no
funny,
matter what it is.
And she's just fun to watch. She's really bubbly. And so we've been watching it.
Noel Fielding as well.
Sorry, Noel. Yeah. And who's the other comedian?
I don't know.
I feel bad not knowing their names.
I don't know.
But we've watched all three series, and they've got a Christmas special out. And they did a Christmas special last year, and it was actually a really, really fun time to watch. And I'm presuming it's going to be the same again this year. So I'm very excited about the new the Christmas special of Never Mind the Buzzcocks. There is something... I was very disappointed. We've been watching a comedy series called Two Doors Down, which is a Scottish comedy. But it's now shown in the whole of the UK. Finally, the UK are appreciating how brilliant the comedy is.
Jamali is the guy.
Jamali, yes. Jamali's really funny as well.
Yeah.
During the lineup, he makes some really funny comments. I'm really disappointed that the BBC will not recognise that Two Doors Down has a more fitting place as a Christmas special. They've not even made a Christmas special this year, which is...
I know, the one last year was really good as well.
In the coffee shop was brilliant. I wish they'd made a Christmas special and they thought to themselves, a good time slot for that Christmas special. The bloody time slot Mrs. Brown Boys is on. Why do they keep putting Mrs. Brown Boys on Christmas Day?
No one knows.
Two Doors Down at that time slot would have fitted so nicely. You've just watched EastEnders.
Found out who... We haven't talked about EastEnders.
I'm about to get to that. So you just watched EastEnders. You found out who the killer is and all that. So you get a bit of light entertainment. Two Doors Down is far funnier and less like 1970s than Mrs. Brown Boys. Anyway, so EastEnders is my final offering. Christmas Day on BBC One.
Let's step into our past history of podcasting for 10 minutes or so. Welcome to Oh,
To Walford Weekly,
welcome to Walford
the weekly podcast all about EastEnders.
yes. So we talked about it on the last Vlogmas one where Chris Clenshaw has changed the show. This one, big Christmas, always big for EastEnders Christmas. So we had the 6th, the flash forward.
Yeah.
Everything changes in a flash.
Oh, what could they mean? What could they mean?
Well, I'm wondering, taglines are very important. There's lots of broken glass everywhere. Flash. I'm wondering if something happens during a power cut.
Okay.
Flash. In a flash, it changes.
Yeah,
It lights go on.
Yeah.
Body on the floor. Which one of you bitches was it?
Oh, so you think it's going to be like Murder in the Dark?
I don't know.
Quick murder.
Well, there is a big fire going, so that would light up quite a lot, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I don't care. But anyway.
Well, you do care because you're discussing it.
Yeah.
It's a shame we have
Flash.
Rob in the background on screen, kind of waving just aimlessly. We should have asked him to do a 5-minute video
green
just
screen.
waving.
Green screen.
Hi.
But yes, so there's 6 suspects of murder.
Yeah,
6 women.
Stacey, Suki, Linda, Sharon, Denise, and Kathy.
And
Anyone
7.
who doesn't watch EastEnders has no idea of those names.
I think everyone who watches this podcast probably has watched EastEnders. And good. It's just my theory.
Good picture though I've got in front of me.
And 7 men.
.com. Yep, the 7 men is Jack, Nish, Dino, Phil, Keanu, Rocky, and Ravi.
It's Dean, not Dino.
Oh, sorry, he's not Dino.
He changed from Dean and he went evil.
So the idea is that one of the 6 women has murdered one of the 7 men, and you need to put the place. It's literally like they've been really clever as well because they've done the colours like it's Cluedo. So it's like who was it? Who is it?
And there's been hints throughout the year. There's the knight in shining armor was a hint. So is it a good guy that gets killed, or someone who's trying to protect them? Knight in shining armor.
Right.
In the flash forward, a knight is behind Stacey.
Oh.
Is it Jack on the floor? Is my theory at the moment.
In the
Jack
promo
Browning.
picture, Nish is behind Stacey.
Oh.
I told you it's a good promo picture. I know.
But I do think it's
you
Jack.
take
I
it?
think it's Jack Branning.
You think it's
I
Jack?
do. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't
why.
be upset if it was Jack.
No, because it needs to be a big character. It needs to be someone that people recognise who haven't watched EastEnders in years who are watching on Christmas Day.
That's true.
But then I also thought, here's my theory, okay, that Chris Clenshaw's first big episode that he did, this is a wild theory, so stay with me, was Dot's funeral episode.
Mm-hmm.
In that episode, Ian made a surprise return, right?
Yeah,
And he was on the phone to Cindy, so the Cindy idea was already in play. And at the end of Dot's funeral episode, Keanu came back.
Oh, I see. So you think Keanu's going to be the...
I'm just wondering, because he may have done this thinking Dot's funeral is going to be an automatically big audience episode.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put Keanu in there, people who may not know who Keanu was now know who he is.
Yeah, true.
Could he be the body because of that?
You say that people won't know, but I know that the Christmas episode does tend to get the bigger ratings for the year. Like people who haven't watched EastEnders tends to come back for it on Christmas Day. But the ratings of EastEnders has increased very steadily this year. Thank you, Chris Clenshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Doth my cap. So I think that it's, even if they use characters that perhaps is a little bit newer, I don't think they'll be out of turn. I mean, the obvious one is Dean, but I think that's too obvious.
I know that's what you have to try and think. It's like, what's too obvious?
Yeah.
It's going to come out of nowhere, and who is going to be a face that you recognise? Because I did think at one point, so going on the the Cindy and Ian thing, that Cindy was actually in the room on the other side. So when the Sharon looks up from the body, Cindy stood there.
Yeah, but I think that would be wrong because then they would cheat everyone out of the
There's
six.
7 men.
No, I think if they did that,
She would be.
a lot of people would call false there. I think a lot of people don't. I think people would be pretty peed off if they then did that. And also, I don't think Cindy would do that. Why would Cindy? There's no motive for Cindy to do any of that, unless it was accidental.
Cindy would be in yellow, I feel.
Yeah,
Yellow's missing.
like a streak of piss.
And
No.
I did think that maybe Adam Woodjack came back to say goodbye, and he's on the floor. Well, that was my original.
No, that would
theory,
be.
but
A
I
cheat.
don't.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I know.
That would be a cheat, and I think Chris Clenshaw wouldn't want to do such a cheap trick as that.
No, but if he's had it planned since the Dot funeral episode, it makes sense.
But I don't think Chris Clenshaw's that kind of guy. I really don't. I think that there's someone there. And also, don't forget they did that spin-off with Cockney Lad, whatever his name is, the one from Laugh Out Loud.
Yeah.
Okay, his name Mickey.
One of them has to step forward because they know who killed.
Yeah. So unless someone was in the studio who
Walks into
wasn't
the
one of those-
studio.
yeah, unless they did that. But I don't think that's true. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's Kathy. I do, because I
Killing?
because I think the actress who plays Kathy wants to leave the show.
What? No.
But they can't keep someone on the show unless you find out that a bit like what they did with Suki, where she thinks she had murdered someone, but then discovered that she hadn't. That's the only way round they could do it. You know? So I don't know. I feel like...
I could see Kathy being the killer.
But I think Kathy is the killer. And I don't know why.
She needs to be redeemed and not go to prison.
But it doesn't match up with who I think is on the floor. And I think it's Nish. I think Nish is on the floor.
Kathy could kill Nish because he took her cafe.
With the cafe that he's going to build flats on in 2 meters squared. Yeah, true.
Some people think there's 2 bodies. There's one upstairs, one downstairs.
Yeah, because Linda is scrubbing the floor upstairs. Yeah. So it shows that there might be...
Dean dead upstairs, Nish dead downstairs.
I mean, that's not out of the realm possibility, and I don't think that's cheap. I don't think that's a cheap trick at all. I think that's a fairly reasonable one, and that would be very exciting. Maybe the body on the floor... Oh, no, they say he's dead, don't they? I was about to say maybe he is alive. Or maybe the body upstairs is alive.
She doesn't get everything right. She doesn't know how to check a pulse.
Well, she only checked a pulse, didn't she? Yeah.
She's not Sonia.
That's true. Maybe she was by accidentally touched her own pulse, and with the alcohol streaming through her body, she thought she was dead.
She could say he's dead, and he's not dead. They then go upstairs to see Dean's dead, and then when they go downstairs again, the body's gone.
Oh, I don't know.
And then they'll blame that person for killing Dean.
I think that there isn't 2 dead, to be honest with you. I think there is only 1 dead. I think the scrubbing on the floor was basically just generally that Linda's kind of like scrubbing, like Macbeth. It's like I'm scrubbing away the evidence, you know, the guilt.
So you think what, Nish and Kathy?
I think Nish and Kathy, but I can't think of why Kathy would kill Nish. It feels too tenuous, the fact that it was because she lost her cafe. You know what I mean? She lost that plot of land in Albert Square. And it feels more sensible that it would be either Stacey or... Stacey's
already killed in that room.
I was about to say, Stacey has history. So she has murdered already and she's been redeemed for it. Normally in soaps, if someone's murdered, they get their comeuppance, and Stacey hasn't had that really. So it makes sense if they were just to say like, or it'd be fine to just put it on Stacey again.
Could be Linda with your theory. If Kelly Bright stayed on a year after Danny Dyer left, she could then be like, okay, well, I'll be the killer. And
yeah, but they've just introduced her full family to the show, her mother and his partner, and their daughters. So that makes no sense either. So I feel like Sharon, I'm sorry, no, not Sharon.
I mean, they could do Suki because she's the newest of the 6. Last in, first out.
That's another theory, but then it's too obvious. Then it would be Nish, because Suki has no other attachment to anyone else. She's got no attachment to Phil. No, she's got no attachment to Phil, nor Dean or Keanu or Rocky or Jack. So the only person it could be would be Nish.
How about this then? This is my last theory. They think Eve is being killed, right, by Nish at the moment, currently. What if Nish says, no, Ravi killed Eve? So they then kill Ravi as like, you've killed Eve, and then Eve walks in, I'm actually alive. Oh, I've killed you back, no point. I shouldn't have killed you.
Thing is that if we are going on the theory that it's actually none of the 6, and that they actually witnessed someone getting murdered.
Tracy.
Yeah, it's definitely Tracy. No, it's Billy. Billy. I mean, I love but for me, if they were going to do that, then I think that Nish finds out that Ravi hadn't killed Eve. Nish then kills Ravi in an exchange. The women witness it happening, and maybe the body upstairs is that in the exchange Nish got stabbed or something because Denise has got that bottle. Ravi quickly gets a bottle, stabs Nish. Nish goes upstairs and then dies upstairs on his own. So then Ravi's downstairs and dead, and Nish is upstairs and has died. But
is Ravi not too sexy to die?
Well, I mean, it would destroy the Pannisters really, which would be a bit of a shame, because then all the responsibility will be on Vinny. And we don't need that to happen.
No.
So, but then it could bring back Kid At. So,
is Steve McFadden
happy about that?
Is Steve McFadden leaving?
No, Steve McFadden will never leave the BBC unless he's pushed. And also, it's very interesting that they said that no one's doing pantomime next year, and Steve McFadden's like the main one who does the pantomime. So I feel like Steve McFadden's not leaving.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't have made a point of finding out that they're not allowed to do pantomime in the future. And if we're going back to Walford Weekly for 5 seconds, I'm also going to say that Steve McFadden should have a storyline where his character slowly gets dementia, and it can be done over 2 years in a very sentimental way, and it'll be brilliant, and it's the right ending for Phil Mitchell. Thank you very much. Drop mic. You can call me later, BBC.
Lovely. There you go then. So that was our festive lineup of TV plus an extra section of Walford Weekly, the old podcast that was retired for Christmas. So I hope you all enjoyed
Not just for Christmas, it's been retired.
Well, yeah.
I'm
back for Christmas. Christmas special, literally.
Kind of, but we're not going to put it on. We're not going to put it on there. Good, fine.
So there you go then.
Right. So if you've enjoyed listening to us, again, in a very long episode, these are meant to be short episodes for the Advent calendar. I don't know what's happened to us.
We're just so spiritual.
Get in touch with us. Tell us what Christmas shows you're going to watch this year by going on X at comment below, pod at on Instagram at comment below _pod, or email us commentbelowpod@gmail.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and never miss an episode in future. And comment below to tell us what Christmas episodes you'll be watching. And if you're listening to us, don't forget to subscribe, give us 5 stars, and comment below for why you've given us those 5 stars.
Also, who do you think's dead at Christmas? On EastEnders. That'd be a fun little...
No, another one.
So we'll see you again for another one. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas Day. So we'll see you tomorrow for another fun frolic through the festive fun.
You're running out of words. Very fun, you. Merry Christmas, everyone.